Hey soapy friends, Kevin here with Divinely Designed, and we have a soap video. This is going to be soaping with Surfactants II, okay? So you may remember that I had another video recently where I was soaping with surfactants, and I used a combination of something called SCI in a noodle form and Torrid Pace, and I made it was called a spicy mocha, right? I fragranced it with chocolate and coffee and a little bit of star anise. So this is that bar. It's about a week and a half later. And you can see that this drop swirl stayed really fuzzy. You know what? I actually have to say, I think I might have messed up the recipe too in terms of my water content, because these are staying really, really soft. I mean, they firmed up a bunch, but they're still, I think it had a lot more water in it than it really should have. But you can see also that cappuccino color turned to this lovely brown color, but we still got that fuzziness, sort of. So I'd like to try some different surfactants. That bar also did not really bubble, you know, any more than kind of my normal bar. So I'm trying some other products. So the first one is, if you remember last time, I used something called sodium cocoyl isophenate in a noodle form. I'm using the same product, but this time it comes in a paste form. And this is supposed to be much easier to sort of blend and use. Now, if you look at it, these are all from the Herbery, is where I got these from. If you look at the description, it's a product that's derived from coconut. It's easy to use. It's a buttery form of that surfactant, sodium cocoyl, I get the last one wrong, isophenate. It has a low melting point of 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. It's much easier to disperse than the noodle form, and you can heat it in water. As opposed to the noodle form, which does not dissolve in water. And you can combine it with other surfactants. The other one I'm using is the Torrid Pace. Now, I used that one last time, but I had combined them together. So this time I'm just going to use it by itself. You know, the first time I did this experiment, I think I got a little excited, and I did colors and fragrances, and this is going to be a much more simple experiment. So just the SCI paste, just the Torrid paste, then I've combined them together. I'm going to use that combined in one soap. And the last product is the one I'm most interested to try. This is actually an apple surfactant. It is derived from apple juice or from apples. They describe it as ultra gentle, luscious, creates a soft lather. It's an excellent choice for sensitive skin, and it's non-irritating. The usage rate is anywhere from 5 to 50%, and it has a pH right around 7 to 7.2, and you can see it comes in a liquid form. So this is perfect. I think this will be the easiest to use, obviously. And all of these, so this one, the apple usage is 5 to 50%. The Torrid Pace is 30 to 50%. No, I'm sorry, 3 to 50%. And the SCI Pearl, they don't actually give a usage rate for it. They just say that if you use it greater than 20%, it will make your product opaque. And I assume they mean in kind of liquid preparations for it. So, but each of these I'm going to use at a 10% usage rate. So the SCI Pearl 10%, the Torrid Pace 10%, the Apple 10%, and then the combined one will be at 20%. It's 10% of each of those. I have my liquids and my oils back here, so they're all prepped to go. Just a kind of standard recipe for me. So it's 50 grams of olive oil pomace, 31 grams of coconut oil 76 degree, 25 grams of cocoa butter, 25 grams of shea butter, 19 grams of castor oil, and for lye water, I have 31 grams of water and 20 grams of lye. So the 10% is 10% of my entire recipe there. I'm going to do the first, and I'm going to use Brambleberry's square mold. I'm just going to make 1 bar of soap for each. So I'm going to do the apple one first, because that one doesn't need any melting or anything. And then I think I'm going to pause and I'll come back. But you can see how I'll do it then. Okay. So, since this is a liquid, this apple surfactant, I'm just going to add it directly to my oils. The other ones will require heating of some kind, so I have just a water bath on the stove right now so I can heat some things up. And let's add the lye water here. This is a pretty small amount, so I'm going to just spend a second here trying to make sure I get everything. Okay. Just give that a little buzz here. Okay, I have some water here just to clean off my stick blender a little bit for this experiment. Okay. And we'll label this one apple. Okay. All right, so that's what I'm going to do for the rest of these, but I'm going to have to do some melting. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll come back in a minute here. Okay, everyone, we're back. So you saw me do the apple one. That worked really well, although I still feel like it sped up, trace a little bit. It got thick pretty quick. Next was just the SCI, which I melted in some warm lye water. Which was hard. It was still hard to do. It didn't really melt very well. It had that ricey quality to it. I added it to my oils and stick blended, which sort of smoothed it out a lot, but it still kind of maintains a little bit of that ricey sort of texture that we saw in my other soaping with surfactant videos. It's not as bad. It's better, but this also sped up, I think. So here I warmed up the lye water, added the SCI to it, tried to melt it as best I could, added it to my oils, and then stick blended, and then poured it in here. It still thickened up pretty quick. Next was the Torrid Pace. I added that to warm oils. That dissolved beautifully. It was very easy to do. Added my lye water, stick blended, did fine. I still feel like it sped up quicker than normal. But it did great. The texture seems fine. It melted really easy. Was really easy to use. The SCI and the Torrid Paste combined together, I didn't know what to do because the SCI you're supposed to put in water, it says, but I added them both to warm oils. The Torrid Paste dissolved fine. The SCI dissolved a little. You still had to kind of work at it and chunk it up. I stick blended them before I added the lye to sort of smooth everything out. That seemed to do better and incorporate it into the warm oils, but it was still kind of chunky. So I actually warmed up my lye solution as well and added it to the warm oils and then stick blended everything really warm and then poured it. So this last one was the hottest one because both the oils and the lye water were warmed up. Each of these only had one. In this case, the oils got warmed up. In this case, the lye water got warmed up, but the other pieces remained at room temperature. So this is they are probably in order from sort of coolest to warmest soaping. The apple, I just did everything room temperature. These two, one of them got warmed up, either the lye or the oils, and the last one, both of them got warmed up. This one, the texture seems better than just the SCI alone. We'll see how it does when it kind of cures, though. But, okay, I made enough to make sort of, they're not really full size, they're not filled up all the way, so they're kind of like 2 3/4 bars, but just for testing purposes, really. And I'm going to let these sit for at least 24 hours. I'll come back and do the video of taking them out, and we'll try an initial soaping test with them, see how bubbly they are, and then I'm going to let them sit for probably a week or so, and then I'm not sure if I'll do one whole video here where everything's in one video, or maybe I'll do a separate one. I'm not really sure yet, but stay tuned. After the break should be the unmolding of these, and stick around. Hey everyone, we're back here with the testing of our soaping with Surfactants II, and they all unmolded just fine, and they're a little soft. They're a little less than 24 hours, but they're firm enough to do a little testing with. All right, so as sort of a comparison, this is just my normal batch that doesn't really have anything added to it. So, okay, right? All right, so first let's test the apple one. Well, okay, not a whole lot of difference here, at least right now. I mean, it's making bubbles, but probably not as good as my regular recipe. I kind of had to work at it a little bit there. All right, next let's try the SCI. This is the one that kind of had the ricey texture. That seems to have changed. It seems nice and smooth. This one seems, this seems more bubbly. It certainly does. Not a ton more, though. But definitely better than the apple one. Okay. Next is the Torrid Pace. So again, I mean bubbly, but I think this is a little bit more bubbly than the SCI. Still not a ton more. Well, this is working pretty nice. This is a little more, I think, than my normal recipe. It seems to be getting there. That's not bad. And last was the Torrid and the SCI together. So this one also has the highest percentage of surfactants compared to the other three. The other three only had 10% of the surfactant added. This has combined a 20% of the recipe as surfactant. So this, not only could the combination of the two make a difference, but certainly the amount. Okay, well that definitely, I think, is making a difference. Yeah, this is definitely more bubbles. Okay. Well, it looks like the SCI combined with the Torrid wins out. The SCI and the Torrid by themselves seem to do okay. I mean, not a ton more, but I think both of those, the percentages could be, can be up. I did only 10%, and I mean, some of them can go up to like 30, 40, 50%, something like that. So the Apple one, it didn't do great. That's the one I was sort of most hopeful for because it's, I don't know, it seems cool that it's derived from apple juice. But, okay, that's it. So if you've used surfactants in your soaps, let me know, and let me know what your results have been. I'll get in my sink here. That's it for this video, I think. So if you like this video, click that thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, subscribe. I will put an update in the description, not in the comments, in the description of this video. I will put some update, at least a week update. I may do like 2 and 4 week updates. So check in the description for if these changed over time, okay? That's it from Divinely Designed. Check back here for more soapy and crafty videos, and have a great weekend, everybody.